Hello, guys, and welcome back to TSN, or the Sasuke Nerds. And today, we are joined by a very special guest. This man needs no introduction. His name is KANE KOSUGI. Hello.
Hi guys, nice to meet you. Hey everyone.
It's pretty
I'm
exciting. Pretty exciting.
I'm here too. Kane,
Hey,
not
Kane.
Kusugi. This is so weird, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's the panel
Three,
of Kane.
three Canes, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
three.
I love it.
That's not lost.
This is the
上半身は止まっていいぞ。大事だ。悔し涙を笑顔に変えるか。手が届いた伝説の男、今復活。
All right. So today, Kane and I have questions for Kane, and it is your job to follow the three Kanes as we try and Kane it up and talk about Sasuke and Sportsman and everything in between.
Of course, we'll throw in Banzuke as well. So let's begin.
Ooh.
I have a little impromptu teleprompter on my phone
Okay.
with my list of questions. So I think where we start is at the beginning. So first, how did you even get involved with, Yushio Higuchi's work in the first place?
It all started while I was in Japan. I just finished the Japanese Power Rangers, and so I was born in the States. I grew up and I graduated high school in California, and then I came to Japan when I was 18. Through my dad, I was able to get a few jobs working, like doing the Power Rangers and stuff like that. But when I came here, I wasn't able to speak Japanese. So, after doing a few, Power Rangers, a few other jobs, because I couldn't speak Japanese, it was really hard getting work here. But during that time, I was training. My main goal is to be an action actor. And during that time, there was this really popular TV program called Banzuke that was on every week, and people doing push-ups and stuff like that. And it was I watched it because I love sports. I grew up with sports, and I was since I wasn't really working much, I was going to the gym and I was training, and then I was always watching that TV program, and then because I wasn't working, I was like, oh, should I go back to the States and to acting career there, or should I go back to school? And I just didn't really know what to do. And one day I was at my agency, and I just told my manager, why don't you call up this Kiniku Bansuke program, because I watch it every week, and there's events where just anybody can go on and try, and I've been working out, so I think I can do good. So he called them up. They said, hey, yeah, we have an opening this weekend. It's a little game corner. So I went on that. I did pretty well, and they called me back maybe two other times for other little small corners, and I guess I did fairly well. So they invited me to the actors, celebrity kind of sports Kiniku Bansuke, the special show.
Yeah, Sportsman #1, of course.
Yeah, Sportsman No.1, yes. So that was my first chance, and I won that. And because I was able to win that show, basically, if I didn't tell my manager to call them up, I was probably gonna head home because I had no more like savings or anything like that, and I figured it was about time. So, because I was able to win the first Sportsman, I got the prize money, so I was able to actually stay longer in Japan. And I figured, I'll try to go on next year and see if I can, win next year. And so it just kept going, So it was really because of that program that I was able to, stay in Japan and try different things. It really opened up a lot of doors for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, of course.
That's wow.
So I mean, if I didn't, yeah, I mean, I've ever since I was, in Japan, I been so lucky to be able to meet so many different people. A lot of times by luck too. And this program, it was basically because of my manager calling him up to see if I can just get onto anything. So if it wasn't for that, I really wouldn't be here anymore.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that wasn't luck. You went for it, and you pursued it, and that was great. Yeah, that's awesome. Who would have thought that was where you kind of were in life? That's
yeah. I mean, so they always say you just have to try, and even if they say no, you just keep asking and stuff, and eventually if you get that chance, then it can turn into something, and that's what happened to me, I think.
Yeah, of course. I remember seeing your performances on KANE KOSUGI, and I think it was the trampoline and the it was the hammer one, the Daruma.
Yeah, the Daruma.
you and Shane were there, your brother.
Yeah. We went on, and I mean, I don't think it really had too much to do with like training at the gym and stuff, but I mean, it was fun and it gave me a chance. And I think after that, I did like Sanshoku battle, where it's like push-ups, sit-ups, and back raises or something like that.
Muscle gym.
Yeah, muscle gym. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, you guys know everything.
Something we should probably clarify. We're both big on Sasuke. I'm more of your ninja warrior around the world kind of guy. Kane is your sportsman, KANE KOSUGI.
Oh wow.
I've watched a lot of sportsman tournaments, a lot of them.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I for me, it was like, I mean, the last 20 years, it's like been a blur. It went by so fast, and my time doing the sportsman and Sasuke, I mean, it was probably one of the busiest times in my life. I was doing, after the third time I won, because of that show, I got so many offers to do like other programs, TV dramas and stuff like that. So I was basically working every day, 365 days a week, 365 days a year, and trying to find time to work out at the same time. So it was a busy time, man.
Yeah, I bet. So fast forward 25 years, and we've gone from the Banzuke era and Sasuke 1 all the way up to the 40th Sasuke tournament. So how different were those two eras, coming into an entirely different atmosphere in terms of, I mean, at the very least, it's run by different people.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, definitely, when I was on at that time, everything was really, really serious. Not like right now. I mean, I feel like it's more of a camaraderie where, it almost feels like, when I'm back in high school doing sports and stuff, and you're like, come on, guys, let's do this, let's all clear this kind of feeling. A bunch of athletes cheering each other on, helping each other, training with each other. When I was on, it was basically everyone for themselves. We didn't have like much training sets, so we basically had to, I was working out at the gym, finding places where you can climb ropes and things like that. But now it's because the level is so much higher and it's gotten so much more difficult. If you don't practice, it's like almost impossible to clear. But when I was on, it was more of like, if you had like some sports background, or if you were training, there was a chance that you could, I think those are the two differences. It's from becoming a really, really serious, everybody just doing it for themselves kind of thing, to right now it's more like everybody training together, having kind of like this nice atmosphere, and becoming something that's. And then when I hadn't gone to the set for 20 years. I went last year, and it was like, it really became almost like an amusement park. It was so huge. It was shot on the same place in Inoriyama, but I mean, the stands were way bigger. There's places where you can buy T-shirts now and stuff. I mean, we didn't have that back then, and yeah, it just looked like, you know, Disneyland almost. You know, it was fun to go on at the same time, you know, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, it gave me motivation to it made me want to go back again. You know?
Yeah, of course. It's like I don't know, the set it changed, but it didn't at the same time. You know,
Yeah,
the backdrop. It's almost like it was never, you know, different.
yeah, yeah,
But you know, if you look at the course itself, you know, the obstacles have changed in every way possible, except for, you know, very few which have stayed over
yeah,
the years.
yeah. I mean, throughout the years, you know, I would watch it once in a while. I mean, recently, the last maybe 5 years, I watched every year. But you know, before that, I was you know, gone a lot and stuff, so I didn't really have a chance to watch. Um, but every time I watched, I always, you know, had this little feeling in me that I want to try it again and, you know, see if I could do it again. And so yeah, last year was kind of like a little dream that came true. You know, I was able to go back on.
Yeah. Did you while you were watching, did you end up having any favorite competitors just as a fan?
I mean, of course, I like Sasuke-kun, Morimoto-san.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
I
up there
mean,
for
I
me.
don't think anybody would doubt that he's, you know, he's really, really awesome, you know, and watching him, it's amazing. Um, I mean, a couple years ago, I got to meet him and a few other guys, and you know, when I shook his hand, it was like, it was like, you know, he was not that tall, but his hand was like he had a glove on. It was like his hand was so thick, and it was like, oh my gosh, you can feel like all this power coming out of his hands. You know, it's like this guy is like crazy. You know, but yeah, it's amazing to watch him.
Yeah, he's like a force of nature, as some of the people in Kane's Discord have said. I mean, when we did predictions for the most recent tournament, both me and the other person had predicted him to win, basically.
Yeah,
He's
he
pretty.
was so close. I mean, it on his first try too, right? And
Yep,
on the
on that
new
new on that
finals,
new.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm sure he'll be able to get it the next time for sure. You know, it's like, I mean, I
I,
hear when I go to practice now, like, I mean, I just started uh last month. Um, you know, over the winter, I don't really do too much, but I started to get back in shape last month, and I started going to Gio's place to train and stuff. And I hear stories about what he's doing there and stuff because he goes, Morimoto-san goes there to practice once in a while as well. It's crazy. He's like in another level compared to all like the, you know, the great Sasuke athletes. Um, it's just crazy what he's doing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that show does just as well as it did in the past. I remember ratings wise. I guess I guess it's an opportune time to bring that up. So yeah, I remember the last person I interviewed. He said that just competing in Sportsman alone kind of skyrocketed his fame. So being on there and winning, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of something I could imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it was when I was going on and when I won the first time against the pro athletes. Because there's a section for just celebrities, and then they have one on New Year's Day where they have like pro athletes and you know, Olympians and stuff like that. That program at the time was one of the most watched, definitely most watched programs you know, throughout the year. I mean, basically, it's New Year's. It's New Year's Eve or New Year's Day or something, I think, and then you have probably a third of the population watching the program. Um, so it's really, yeah, it's a really big program that time.
Yeah, it's coincidentally how many people watched the most recent Sasuke. It did extremely well for being aired when it was, you know, aired in the first place. It hasn't been like that recently, but
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, you know, people don't really watch TV, so it's hard to compare to, you know,
right.
20 years ago and stuff. The ratings is different, but
yeah.
you know, now, you know, you can just get double digits. It's already good enough. And I think, yeah, Sasuke 40 did really well. Um, I mean, it was fun going on and just watching, watching all the great athletes there. And that's, I mean, I enjoyed it.
Would you say that you expect the next tournament to be in the winter as well?
I think so. I think the last few years it's been around the same time, right?
Right.
Around they shoot in October sometime or November. I've heard of little rumors that they're trying that, once in a while maybe there's a chance that it'd be twice a year again or something like that, but you never know. For me it's like I hope it's just once a year because I need more time to train and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, how's the stage 2 progress going? We watched your latest vlog on Unguarded, and
Oh,
you were
thank you so much. Yeah.
cranking out the salmon ladder. That's something that we're both currently in the process of training as well.
Yeah.
but we
I'm doing
understand
that.
we understand the struggle of salmon ladders for sure.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there was something you said in there when you said you wanted to win by age 50. It's caused a bit of theories on what people have been saying. So by win, do you mean beat the second stage, or do you mean
I
content?
mean beat the whole thing.
Content.
Let's go.
Dude.
That's the right answer.
that-
So I mean, like I have the cliffhanger, the vertical at home now. Well, I had it at the end of last year, but I mean, I just like kind of touched it once in a while, and I knew because vertical. Is it called vertical limit?
Yeah, it's called vertical limit.
Yeah, vertical limit is like when I first grabbed it. This is like it just felt impossible, humanly impossible. That's gonna. For any normal person who doesn't climb or anything like that, it's like how do you hold yourself up like that? So I mean, I started last year, and I'm able to move a little bit on the vertical cliffhanger. I'm still I haven't really challenged the jump yet. So but movement and stuff I'm getting a lot better. So my goal is 50 next year. I think if I have a whole 2 years, I'll be able to train my body to get used to the those kind of climbing and stuff like that. And that's kind of a big goal for me. Like this year I want to go to at least third, and then next year I want to clear the whole thing. It's kind of my time limit that I'm kind of giving myself to train for.
Sheesh, that is. Yeah, we made like a whole video on that channel. Like, KANE KOSUGI wants to win Sasuke by 50.
We were.
Yeah.
I personally, I thought you were just talking about stage 2, maybe stage 3. But
Oh no, stage 2 is like it's a must for me this year. I think.
Oh yeah.
If I do go on, people, I have no excuse now. I went on after 21 years. People could say like, oh, it's been a while. So if he messes up, it's like it's never tried it or something like that. But
Right.
now I've been on it. I was able to clear first stage, so I know what it's kind of like now, and I have no excuse to fail. I think to myself. I think I need to at least get to third stage. Hopefully, be able to go give a good run on the third stage, and then hopefully by next year I'll get enough strength to clear the whole thing. Is kind of my goal.
So
I mean, this year clear the whole thing is. I mean, it's not impossible, but I mean, it's really tough. So I've only just started working on my fingers the end of last year. So I mean, like probably anyone who's done Sasuke and climbing and stuff, you really push yourself too much, your fingers start to hurt and your joints start to hurt.
Yes.
And I started feeling that at the beginning of this year. I was pushing myself with cliffhanger and stuff like that, and like once every 2 days, I was trying to do as much as I can, and especially I'm getting older and stuff, so it doesn't recover as fast. So I mean, I'm hoping I'll get to that point by next year. I really want to do my best.
Yeah.
And how's your dragon glider been? Because we were all eyes wide open, and when we saw you miss that dragon glider grab, I lost my mind. Everyone who was watching, we went like, "Oh my goodness!" So how does that looking back on that run, like, are you still satisfied overall, or is it something that you're still really trying to drill in training?
I'm still trying to drill in training. So I mean, yesterday we did a run through of the first because now there's a fishbone. So we run through the whole first. I feel really well, really good. I did the Dragon Glider. It's been a few months that I did it, but I was able to clear it. I mean, during the actual the shoot, it was, I didn't even know what happened. I was like, I mean, it was like this weird thing, like whenever I'm in like Sportsman or Sasuke, I get so focused. I like, even after everything's done, I don't really know what happened. I did I really win, or did I really clear? It's always this thing. So I kind of, I need to watch it myself, kind of,
Yeah.
And because I mean, that whole time I was just like focused on, okay, I just gonna first is quad steps. I need to make sure that I get as low as possible, and make sure I stick my toes into the wheels. Is that what you call it?
Well, it's called
the log,
rolling hill.
The barrels, I guess. Yeah.
Barrels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like always just focused on what I need to do and the next thing. So I don't really know it's kind of this weird feeling. I don't know what's happening. And when I jumped to grab, I don't know, for some reason, my hand just missed. And then I did, like, after that, everything was in slow motion and I didn't know what happened. And then I was like, oh man, it was this weird feeling. I don't know if I slipped or something. And then like, Matachi Yo-san was like, oh man, how did you grab it? You like missed it completely. And I was like, oh, I don't know what happened. It's just like, I don't know how it happened, but I was able to recover. And so it's a weird feeling. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that run was something out of a story or something. I remember like as I was watching it for the first time, I reacted so loudly that my mom came in.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I mean, I was anyone who's who's been on the set, they know how it feels, to stand on the starting line and you're really nervous and you just focused, and then that's something that I missed. I think always doing sportsman and Sasuke, in daily life you don't get that feeling. I think to be that nervous, to try to get that focus, it's something that doesn't really happen that often. So I mean, I missed it, and it was a great experience to go back on last year and to be able to feel that again. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I could imagine. I could imagine indeed. Yeah, the course is not getting any easier. But no, let's segue straight into our next question. Because we don't know a lot about this initial tournament. What was your initial Sasuke 1 experience like? The tournament that was indoors, part of KANE Kosugi. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how. I mean, it was basically the original producer Higuchi-san, who did who's the creator of KANE Kosugi, the TV program, and then he went on to do the Sportsman. I guess he wanted to do some kind of obstacle course kind of thing, and he came up with Sasuke, and it was just at the time when I was doing a lot of the programs with him, and he invited me, and so I was able to go on the first one.
Yeah, I remember the way it was edited. It was very rapid fire in its editing. It was this guy, he's running, oh, he failed, next guy. Was it as rapid fire as the editing would have you believe?
I mean, the shoots originally, I mean, basically nowadays Sasuke takes like 2 or 3 days to shoot the whole thing, but originally when I was on, it was all one day. So I mean, you have to, it was really it was tough. You get there at 8 in the morning or something, and you're done at When I won on the ninth one, when I was on the final stage, I think we were done around 2 a.m. or something like that, 2 or 3 a.m. So, yeah, I mean, even for the contestants, you know, it's like one after the other, go, go, go kind of thing, you know, I think at that time. And I think, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they just wanted to keep the audience, you know, they wanted to try to get as many of the contestants on at you know, in the program with the limited time that they have. I think it was 2 hours. So that's how they edited it in the beginning.
Yeah, I could imagine, and it's also it was probably really fast in run order, because I remember hearing the announcer during one of the after contestant interviews, I think, which probably makes sense because that stage probably took no time to reset, because it really didn't have any moving parts besides that balance bridge with the wedge in the middle. It was
I mean, now I think it takes more time to set everything up, to reset everything, you know, the dragon glider, and dry everything off and things like that. I think it takes a lot more time.
And can I just say, I'm still impressed with how well the first Sasuke tournament managed to fit all 100 competitors in the broadcast. That is not something you see anymore at all. And so it's very impressive how we fit over 100 runs.
There were a lot of fast
into 2 hours, which is really less.
Now it's 4 hours or something, right?
5. This last one was 5, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was at the time I was living in Hawaii, and it was from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. and we watched it live, and it was an experience. It was every year I throw away my sleep schedule so I can watch it live, and you know, it's always a good time making those memories and watching it with people. I had my girlfriend with me at the time this year, and it was really cool. She's getting more and more into it, and
nice.
You'll be delighted to know that you're one of the few that she recognized without me having to tell her.
Thank you.
It was really cool.
Thank you so much.
She was like, "Oh yeah, it's Jesse Graff," and I was like, "Yeah, good job." And then we were scrolling down the list of numbers, like, "It's Kane. That's Kane. That's Kane." And I was like, "What?" She saw you on the run order before I did. And
oh wow!
I was waiting to like get a good reaction to it, and I was like, "Oh wait, okay, we're here. Okay, we're here."
Well, I'm sure she just noticed because my name is your name, so.
Oh, I mean, if you ever met her, you would know how much I've talked to her about it. You would hear. She would definitely know.
Yeah, of course. I remember my co-host. He made a video saying, "Oh well, KANE KOSUGI is probably not coming back. It's probably Spodan," and he was in for a rude awakening when he saw the run order.
I will say there was someone in our community who did not have any sources, no concrete evidence of anything, and in about March of last year they started saying, "Guys, KANE KOSUGI's gonna be in Sasuke 40." And we were just like, "Dude, stop making stuff up. This is getting old," because he did it for months on end, and then he turned out to be right. But by then everyone was like, "This is ridiculous. Get out of here with that. Like, it's not happening."
He came out in March saying that?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really
He's a prophet apparently.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I got invited last year, but it was a month before the actual shoot. So I was like, "Oh no, there's no way I'll be able to get back in shape in a month." I think they were trying to have me back because it would be my 20th year anniversary since the last time I was on. But I said I don't think I can do it if it's only a month. I mean, I always had this feeling I want to go back on, but if I had the chance, I really need time to train because the stuff that I do normally is completely different. And so I said, how about the year next year? If you guys do it next year, I'll go on. I'll start training now. So it's the end of 2000. It's 2023, 2020. So the 2021, I was like, okay, I'll start training at the in December or something.
So you were gonna be. They asked you. So they asked you to be on the 39th.
39th, yes.
Wow. Okay.
They
And
asked me on 39th, but then it was a month before the actual shoot, and then I was like, I don't think I can make it. So I said, you know, if you guys can invite me, if there's a space for me next year. But I didn't know at the time. I didn't know it was the 40th. You know, I wasn't. I just kind of said, you know, if there's a space for me next year, then I'll start working right now. You know, I won't be able to make it this year, but I'll go next year. And you know, I just discussed it with my team and stuff like that. You know, because it was a hard decision. You know, going back on Spodan and stuff like that. It's, you know, I just hate to lose. You know, so and then I mean, I hate to lose. You know, things is, you know, there's this big gap since I've been on all these programs, and you know, it's different, you know, and you really need time to train and stuff like that. But, you know, people are always like, you know, just go on. We want to see you go on, you know, just do your best. But for me, it's, you know, I don't want to lose. So if I do go on, I'll do my best to train. And so I said, you know, like if there's a spot for me next year, if I can be able to go on next year, then I'll start training right now. And so I started training in December, you know, just you know, getting in shape and stuff like that. And then Spodan came around January to ask me to go on in March. But I was like, at first I was telling my team that, you know, I don't really want to go on because I'm kind of focusing on Sasuke for the 40th. But they're like, you know, why don't you just try? You know, like you have a month and a half to train for Spodan, and you know, it could be, you know, a good motivation for Sasuke as well. You know, so sorry, that's my daughter crying.
No, it's fine. I heard it. I didn't want to bring it up though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on Spodan. I didn't do that well, but it gave me a lot more motivation to work harder for Sasuke. So I kind of got in shape, training and stuff like that. And then around May, I started to go to Gio's place to train, and Matsuda-san's place to start training on the sets and stuff.
I want to take a quick poll here. If your name is Kane and you are very competitive, raise your hand. Look at that. I think it just comes with the name.
Oh yeah.
All Canes are they hate losing.
Yeah.
And to bring that up, I mean, I would assume that this thought maybe has crossed your mind a couple of times, but
Yeah.
you've never failed stage 1. You know, coming into 40, you were 5 for 5.
Yeah.
And now you're 6 for 6. Is that something that you've ever really put like a lot of stock into when you're running or when you're training, or is
No.
it kind of what happens?
Yeah, it's I never think about, you know, like, oh, I can't fall because of my record or something like that. It was always when I did go on, it was more of, you know, I need to do well. You know, I need to go to at least, you know, when I was going on back in the days, it was always, I need to at least go to stage 3, you know, the people giving me the chance to go on this program. You know, if I fall on the first stage, it's like, you know, it's not good. So it was always, you know, for, you know, the fans, for the people, you know, I need to do well, you know, and then this time especially, you know, it's for the fans, you know. Like I said, I love playing video games, so I was always streaming last few years, and we would always watch Sasuke. You know, like I'd watch it and we'd kind of like commentate with, you know, like everybody watching, and I would say, oh, you know, maybe if he did this, it'd be better, or kind of stuff like that. And you know, it kind of got me to like, you know, I really, really want to go back on again, you know. So it's because of, you know, those fans and people who would always say, I wish I could see you go back on again. So this time it was because of that I really wanted to try again, and I didn't want to let those people down, you know.
Yeah, of course.
That was the biggest thing for me, you know. And of course I don't like to lose. It's, you know, the records and things like that I don't think about that at all when I go on.
Yeah, maybe it's true that the people, you know, the fans think about it more than the competitors do sometimes, because I've heard to the road and back about that, that record.
That's the only reason I asked, because
Oh yeah.
I
No,
think-
I mean,
If I came
if I
out
was a
of this
fan, I would
interview-
feel bad too.
if I came out of this interview and I did not bring that up, I would have. There would be some comments about it probably.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I mean, if I follow somebody, like a athlete or something, and it's always like that. Like when you see Messi, he got his World Cup finally. It's like, it's things like that. But for me, doing it, of course, I don't want to let fans down. But for me, I don't think about it. It's just for me, it's just about doing the best I can, and becoming better. That's all that I think about.
Yeah, of course. And I think it's time to move on to our next question here on my list.
His favorite.
Anything, man.
No, what was your experience of Sportsman #1 like? And I think something that a lot of people want to know, because I've heard about it. What did you do with the cars after you won? Because what does a man do with 6 cars?
I think it was 7 in total, because I think if you come in second, you get a car for the ones against the athletes. So they used to have a car for first and second for the New Year's one, a special one.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I mean, like I'm the first car I drove. Second car I gave to my office, my agency. So we used that for for work. And my third car, I started giving them away. Like I gave one to my brother, I gave one to somebody else, I gave one to my manager, stuff like that. Because I mean, after a little while, it's like, well, you don't have one car, and then even though you get it, you have to pay the tax and stuff like that. So I mean, it was just like you need a car, want to have a car kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I think I forgot which one it was, but after the 4th one or something like that, I think I switched in my first car and I used that one, and then I drove that car for like 14 years. It was kind of my, like all of them have like sentimental value. I mean, the one that I drove for 14 years, it was like, it reminded me of, I need to work hard. And then I still have the jerseys here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll pan up, but I have the jerseys from. Oh man, hold on a second. Let me get this.
Oh yeah.
Kane, are you ready for that? Are you ready for that mentally?
Oh my
Dude.
God.
Dude,
That's so fucking cool.
that's awesome.
Oh my God. Wow.
The lighting on them too is amazing.
So those are the jerseys from the year 2000 when I was able to win against the athletes. So yeah, I kept those.
Yeah, it takes a lot of skill for sure. I remember in the 2002 one, you had to battle against Murofushi. He was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man.
The one where I didn't touch the button.
Oh no, I remember that. I remember seeing that for the first time. I was watching it with my friend, who's also very well versed in Sportsman, and
Yes.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one that I'll never forget. Yeah. But I mean, I think I was going for 1310 or 1320 or something like that, and I just knew it needed to be like I needed to touch it like as far back as possible, because it was like the way I was running that day, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to touch the ball if I didn't, go as far back as possible. So I went for it, but yeah, I missed the button. So it was bad.
Yeah, it sucked. But you gave Murofushi a run for his money. I'll give you that. Even though he's like third best in the hammer throw, which is
Yeah. But I mean, it would. I mean, even up to today, everyone talks about that program because he's Olympic gold medalist, but it would have been good to win that one. I had a chance. I think I was at my peak at that time. I think training wise, and I had the power, the speed, and everything. But yeah, just something that live I have to live with.
It's the one that got
I
away.
mean, hey, I think you killed it. I think you killed it.
Oh, it would have been nice to beat him. It would have been really nice.
At least it wasn't the one where you lost by you lost by 1 point. That one.
Oh yeah. I mean,
the fingertip.
Yeah. I mean, all those the losses I had to live with for a whole year. It was like, I remember losing to Iketani-san, and everyone's saying, "Oh, do better next year." Oh, I watched you on the program. It was so close. Maybe next year. It's like, yeah, it's like having to live with that for a year is. I went through that many times.
I mean, the next.
Yeah, us KANE, we don't like to lose, so it's tough to live with for a year.
You know what? Let me get something real quick. You know what? The one ninja-related thing I have first place. Look at that. I'm
wow!
So proud of this one. So proud. And then I got silver. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. But there's room for improvement there.
Yeah.
We gotta.
Yeah, I know. I remember you entered like the next tournament after Iketani won. You opened it saying like, "I'll never forget that feeling after losing last year. This year I'm gonna win." I guess things never change.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's funny, when you win, you're happy for just about a day. That's about it. And then it's like, oh man, next year it's coming. I gotta start working out for it because everybody's gonna be coming for me, kind of feeling. Oh, when you lose, it's like sucks for every day until your next, until you get that champion, that first place back. It's kind of
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of experiences in track and cross country, where there were many times where I was right up here, and then the next year everyone was coming, and so you had to really push, and those victories, they felt really sweet, but then it
doesn't last long.
It was then, oh snap, everyone's coming after me now. So, I believe KANE has a comparison question he wants to know about.
Yeah, sure.
It's been a hot topic for him for the last year, 2 years. He talks about this one a lot.
But yeah, I just wanted to wonder, because we don't hear a lot about early tournaments. What was your experience of Sasuke 8? The one where it rained and you made it to the final.
Oh, that's Sasuke 8 or 9?
That was 8.
Yeah,
that was 8. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So the last one that I was on.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it? What was it like?
Yeah, I know. We never got to hear, competitor side because it was.
Oh yeah. Well, for me during that time, Sasuke wasn't. I mean, like for me now, it's like Sasuke's. I think about it every day, kind of like a normal Sasuke competitor. It's like now I'm hooked on Sasuke.
Yeah.
During the time, it was like for me, it was Sportsman was the main thing on my mind. It's like that's what kind of helped me stay in Japan, and that's what kind of got me known in Japan. So, I was always focused on training for Sportsman, especially to beat the athletes on New Year's Day. So, going on Sasuke was really tough because I would have to cut down. I would, for Sasuke, if I was when I was going on Sportsman, I was about 76, 77 kilograms. But if I go on Sasuke, it'd be a little bit too heavy, I think. So I would always try to cut down to maybe it was 73 or something like that. And the training is different, like for Sportsman, it's more you have to train for power and speed. Sasuke is a lot of climbing and stuff like that. So I never really liked, doing both because it was hard to switch training. So I guess that was the reason why I wasn't able to go on, every year. I would only go on once in a while. But when I do go on, I'll always try to do my best with the time I have, and train for it. And I think when I was on Sasuke 7, is it when I fell on stage 2?
Yes,
I think that was the first time. Yeah, I think that was the first time that I fell on stage 2. I I I didn't feel like I didn't feel good like going on stage Sasuke 7. I first was telling my team that I didn't want to go on because I didn't feel like I was ready and I wanted to focus more on sportsman. So but I still trained for it and I went on, and when I fell on stage 2, it was kind of like that was the first time for me to fall on stage 2, and it was something that I knew I shouldn't have fell on. So I was so upset that I was like, okay, give me a year and I'll just focus on Sasuke. And then that was, that's why I trained for Sasuke 8. And it's just like that was the first time that I actually just like really, really just focused on Sasuke more than Sportsman, I think.
Yeah, of course.
So when I went on Sasuke 8, I felt like this. I felt more pressure than the other times that I was on because I really put a lot of time in it. I knew there was a lot of parts that I had trouble with, especially on stage 3. Like the body prop, the cliffhanger. At the time, stage 1 and stage 2, it didn't change too much, and it wasn't like something that's right now, right? So,
Right.
if you worked out, you trained properly, you should be able to, do well. So stage 3 was probably the hardest for me. So I kind of trained for that. I did a lot of climbing. I did a lot of indoor climbing when I had time. I practiced, and yeah. So when I went on, it was like I felt really good, but then and you never know with Sasuke because it's just a one chance thing. You only get one shot, so it's like anything can happen. You see, that's the thing. That's the scary thing. That's another thing that I preferred Sportsman over Sasuke's, because Sportsman, you do bad on one event, you can make it up on the next person. It's not as much pressure. The Sasuke pressure is crazy. It's like
Yeah, I know.
it's like 1,000,000 pounds on you. You only get one shot, so
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember I just wanted to go on in Sasuke 8. I wanted to go on and revenge Sasuke 7, because I felt like I wasn't as prepared as I could be. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. I remember. Yeah, I didn't really stop you, the mistakes in Sportsman thing, because I remember looking at the stats. My friend made a table. In one of the tournaments, you won every single event except for one of them where you placed second.
Oh yeah, I think that was the second time I went on, or the third time I went on, or something like that. Yeah.
I think it was. I'm blanking. I think it was.
Maybe the third time. Okay.
It was the fourth time.
Oh, fourth time. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and then yeah, I think after that they started to bring in like people who are good at each events, kind of thing, just in case. I remember I was like, wow, this guy, he's gonna be so good at doing push-ups, and then I was like, oh wait, this guy. So then they had Iketani-san. He was like the best at the monster box. So I was like, oh man, I have to go against Iketani-san. I think I only beat Iketani-san once in my life, or something, or maybe not even. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
But I mean, all those really, help push me, I think, and to get stronger and better.
Yeah, I know. He was like your rival almost. I don't know if that's how it was in the actual show, but that's how it was kind of presented in the broadcast.
Yeah,
I've recently started watching Sportsman, slowly getting more and more into it, just because I've been so into Sasuke and Ninja. drifting the other way right now, trying to see more. And you never looked unsportsmanlike, but the way the cameras portrayed it, if Iketani had a great event, it'd go to you and you'd be like, and so I was like, look, I'm sure that like some of those had at least over half of those had to have been just you got your game face on, and it's just the cameras playing it up, but it totally like,
I mean, of course, they do editing and stuff like that. They try to make it dramatic as possible, have a rivalry between us. They had him dye his hair, on purpose and stuff like that to make him look more. I guess they wanted to have a rivalry, because that's what makes things interesting. I think what it was, but I mean, for me, he pushed me definitely. He's one of my toughest rivals, and because of him, he pushed me to become better. And but I mean, people when they watch things, I remember when Sasuke first went to the States, and I think it was on cable TV.
G4,
yeah.
Yep.
I remember going back, and I remember people like my old schoolmates saying, "Hey, I saw you on TV and stuff. You doing Sasuke." And I was, "Oh, really?" And I remember going back to the States one time, and I watched it, and it was all like they had like subtitles, or was it dubbed or something like that?
It was subtitled, and at the time it was subtitled very poorly. Definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, it wasn't even what I was saying too. I think they said something like, "Oh, like I think when me and my brother was on, and I don't know if he failed or something like that, or I failed, and it was like something I think the subtitle says something like, "Oh, you disgraced our family name," or something like that.
We're gonna have to look for that.
I think it was something like that, and I was like, "Wait a second, that's a little bit too much," and I would never say anything like that.
Yeah, I remember. G4. That's where I first saw your Kinniku Banzuke performances. They called it Unbeatable Banzuke.
Unbeatable Banzuke.
Yeah,
that was ours, and pretty much everyone in America's introduction to Sasuke and Banzuke. We not so much Sportsman. We had to do a little bit of digging for Sportsman, but definitely a worthwhile endeavor. And they're not perfect. They're not perfect what we got, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
I'm sure. I watched it. I had fun watching it, and it was good to have it shown in the States, because all my friends got to see it. And I remember having one really cool experience where it's like after working here in the States, working here in Japan, once in a while I'd go back for the holidays or something to visit my mom, and no one would really recognize me back there. But I remember one time, all of a sudden, me and my mom was sitting at this restaurant, and then these two cops were sitting across the table, and they were having lunch, and one of them was looking at me, and then after they left first, and after me and my mom came out of the restaurant, the cop came and stopped right in front of me. He was inside his car, and he's like, "Hey, come here." I was like, "Oh shoot, what did I do?" And he's "Hey, are you on that like program on that cable thing, that an obstacle course? I've seen you before." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "Hey, I recognized you." And I was like, "Oh man, this is great." I got recognized by a cop in the States. Yeah, and I was like, so that was a really good experience.
Yeah, of course.
So before we start the video, we talked about you talked about how you've seen more stuff in the States. Ninja Warrior, as it is referred to in the West, has gone very far globally, and Sasuke as well had a decent run throughout other parts of Asia as well. Is that something you'd ever be interested in exploring, if you ever think you have the time to?
You mean like competing in
other countries? I mean, hey, technically you're an American citizen by birth, so American Ninja Warrior wouldn't be off the table for you.
I mean, I guess if there was was, some invitation and I was able to, get ready for it, of course I wouldn't, I would love to try. I mean, for me right now, it's, I mean, the reason I came back for 40 was basically for all the people who supported me for all these years, and my fans here, and I just wanted to, go back one more time and see if I could, do well. And now it's, yeah, I mean, now I'm hooked on it. I want to do, I want to go back. If I get another chance this year, I want to go back and, see how far I can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to know a couple of things because, they're known in many countries, specifically the USA and France, for shaking up the traditional Sasuke format, for better or worse. So I just simple yes, no on if you'd be interested in these potential twists. Potential second chances on your runs on stage 1 or 2.
The potential second chance. You mean like if you fall to go again?
Yes.
Yep.
No, I don't think it's good. I mean, I mean, I've only experienced that one time. When I was on, there was second stage. He got like kind of like tangled. So they they said stop, and then he should do it again because it's dangerous, kind of thing.
Right.
And I think afterwards it was in tabloids and stuff like that, and it was really yeah. And I think ever since that he never won on, and it was just not a I think it was I think it gave, I don't know, some other competitors or people watching kind of this not so good feeling or something. So I think it's better, no matter what happens, if it's, God's will that it rains or snows and, you can't do it, but, you fail because it's, it's iced or slippery or something, then, have to go on next year and try again, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's just, it's a one-time thing, and that's what makes Sasuke hard and makes it interesting.
Yes, there we go. I mean, I can understand if there's a course malfunction and it's not the competitor's fault. But besides that, I 100% agree. Thoughts on competitors racing each other side by side?
Yeah, I mean that could be. I mean that could be interesting. Like like the Olympics. How they have snowboarding or speed. Speed skating and those kind of things. It could be cool, but I mean, as for now, I think Sasuke is like you against the course. I think I think it's just different. Like it's going to be a completely different event if it's like you versus another person.
Yep. the most understanding and wise person I've spoken to on these subjects.
I mean, I think it's already tough enough to beat the course. It's only been done by 4 people. So, and I think it's good enough as it is. I don't think they need to make it against another person. I mean, of course, they always show who had the fastest time and stuff like that, and I think that's good enough.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of agree. They do sister shows in like various countries, US, Germany. I think that's where that format really shines, competitive.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that on SNS and stuff like that. I've seen them, like little kids when they go against each other and stuff like that. It's crazy.
You heard it here first, guys. KANE KOSUGI has watched KNW Junior.
Yeah,
that is incredible.
I watched it. Like I've seen the ones where like the one guy goes ahead and all of a sudden the second kid, he comes from behind and he wins and stuff like that. It's fun to watch, But I think it's a completely different event.
Yeah, I agree.
One of us. One of us.
Oh man, I guess.
I think we're down to our last question, Kane.
One
and
of
I
our
think that's
last. Yeah, I think one of our last. I think I have like 2 more
Sure,
on the
sure.
board.
Okay, yeah, anything.
All right, so I guess the penultimate one, which is something that all of us have wanted to know. What actually caused your, extended break from, Sasuke and Sportsman in the first place?
Well, that was around when I was almost 30, and I mean, my ultimate goal and my dream, ever since I was a little kid, was to, try to be in movies and do action and stuff like that. And like I said earlier, during my 20s, after going on Inigabansuke, and because of the chances and the doors that opened for me, I was so busy just working every day, and I knew, I didn't want to just stop here. I wanted to, go after my dreams, to go to Hollywood and try at least, and so, after when I turned 30, I was like, I need to stop. I need to just focus on movies, action and stuff like that. So I started going back to the States, getting a manager, an agent, going to auditions and stuff like that. And I think that was my main goal at that time, And, I did that for a few years, worked in Hong Kong and stuff like that. And then just never had a chance to go back, to Sasuke or Sportsman. After 10 years passed, it was like, now I'm getting in my 40s, there's no real reason for me to go back on. Everyone's young. I don't think people want to watch me, fail and stuff like that. You never, it's always like that, like I had that feeling, And so it just time passed, but I always wanted to compete. I always loved competing. I always loved, training and stuff. So, and then, the last few years, being more in contact with fans and stuff like that, and hearing them and how much they want me to go back on, and having a daughter change things too as well. You want to try to be a good example to your kids, and it's not so much like, like I hate to lose, and I don't want to go on and lose. During my 30s and 40s, it could be like that, but when you get for me, it changed. It's like, now I can't have that feeling. I just gotta, show my daughter that I can, even in my late 40s, even my 50s, I can, like, set my mind to it. I can do something, So I kind of want that kind of change. So that kind of brought me back as well.
Yeah, of course. No one likes to lose, especially.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a video about all my like Ninja Warrior runs, and I
Uh-huh.
want it to just be me failing for like 10 minutes straight. That's not the plan. But no,
Yeah.
the reason I bring this question is because
Uh-huh.
there's actually a bit of a, I don't know, misconception going around.
Mhm.
That,
rumor.
yeah,
Yeah.
rumor, misconception, whatever. That this was caused by a video game that you are familiar with, KANE Kosugi Kimuru Kiseki no Kanzen Seiha. That one, the game of romance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with anything like that. No. All the video games that I was able to be a part of, I was happy. I didn't have any troubles or yeah, I mean, no quarrels, nothing like that, no drama or anything like that. It was just basically all me. And I mean, yeah, it at the time, the team that I had around me, my agents, my managers around me, after I stopped for a little while, they were just like, oh, you should just, focus on what you really want to do. And so they backed me up. And I mean, I did go back, I think one time for the Sportsman, I had a 2 or 3 year a blank where I didn't go on. And after my 2002, I think I went back on to like 2004 or 2005 one time.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, and then that was after working a little bit in the States, and I tried to go back on, but I didn't do that well. But if there was a chance, I would always want to go back on, but it just never happened. And I was more focused on trying to work more in movies and stuff like that, and action, I think. Yeah, so it's nothing to do with drama.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could hear it from the man himself, because that
Yeah.
has been a looming rumor for the past few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, yeah, of course, I feel bad, I mean, I know that it was because of that program, and so many people watched it and, cheered for me, and, I hope I didn't let them down, or I hope it wasn't, I hope, they didn't have any bad feelings and stuff like that. And, yeah, but it was nothing bad at all. I'm always grateful to Higuchi-san for the chances he gave me. There was no quarrels or anything like that, and it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, glad to hear that. Now we approach our final question. This is a little bit of a big one.
Okay.
But this is, I don't know, a bit of an interesting one. Let me scroll up so I can get this word for word so I don't mess it up.
Okay. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so in your past victory speeches, you spoke about how the show had taught you something, like if you do your best, you can achieve anything.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, what have your recent ventures in Spodan and Sasuke, what have they taught you?
What have they taught me? What are the biggest things? I mean, they always teach me a lot of things, When I went back on Spodan, I think it was, so the one I went on last year, that was the one that I where it was like the full all events kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I think I went on like 4 years ago or 5 years ago. It was just the monster box and the shotgun. So that was kind of like, like exhibition kind of thing. But this last year one, so I haven't been on in like, ages, competing. But I mean, I trained for it. It was only about 2 months that I was able to train. A month and a half, 2 months. But yeah, for this strange feeling, I was feeling good. I didn't work out much for 2 years because of Corona. So for the 2 months I was working out really, really hard, and I got into shape finally. But so I kind of had this feeling like, oh, I can maybe win this thing, even though I haven't gone on in a long time, and even though everyone's like 20 years old or something, I think I can beat them. I had this feeling that it was like, I can beat them. But when I went on and I didn't win, then I knew it's like, it wasn't this feeling of, oh, I'm getting old or anything like that. It was just this feeling like, you can't never be too confident. You just have to, you can never be too prepared. I think when I was on 20 years ago, I had that feeling, I of course I was winning and stuff like that, but then at the same time I had this feeling, I need to just, focus on the best I can. And I think, I mean, I had that feeling this last time when I went on, but at the same time, I think I felt like, oh, there's a chance that I could maybe win. So I think that was a bad part of me of letting my guard down, I think. But I mean, it helped me in Sasuke, I think, in a way that, like I needed to work harder. And yeah, Sasuke 40 taught me, like if you really put your mind to it, you can, I worked hard for, 10 months. Even, if you really want something, you can really, and you go after it 100%, you can, really get it. I think that taught me a lot. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never really thought about it in depth, but
Well, I mean, the nice thing is you've still got hopefully many years of healthy competing coming up, and that's there's always, I mean, you're bound to get a, who knows, maybe there's like a full scope lesson at the end of all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's things, it's funny, like when you're in your 20s, things, you know, you're not afraid of anything. I think. But for me, when I was in my 20s, I was not afraid of anything. I, you know, jump off buildings, sure. You know, do this, do that, nothing, no problem. You know, try something new, no problem. When you're in your 30s, it's a little bit different. When you're in your 40s, it changes a lot, and you know, things are different. But then, you know, overall, I think that the main thing for me has always been, and it hasn't changed. It's doing the best I can, no matter what. You know.
Words from the legend himself. And with that, we have come to the end of our interview.
Wow, thank you guys.
End of
I
our
had
video.
fun.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
No,
so
sorry,
much.
I'm not.
For
Let me
all
know
of
if
our
you
viewers-
ever have questions or anything. Just you know, ask me, and you know,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
if I can answer, I'll answer.
Is there anyone
For sure.
or anything you wanna shout out? Maybe a channel or any person you wanna shout out, perhaps?
No. I mean, I'm glad I got to finally meet you guys. You know, going on, you know, Sasuke 40 was an experience. You know, I was, you know, I was. It was a hard decision for me, you know, because I really didn't want to let people down, and. But I'm thankful for you guys. You know, you guys really, you know, support Sasuke so much, and it's a big help for, you know, the program. And I mean, I love Sasuke. It gave me a shot here in Japan, and you know, I hope it will continue to 100, 200. It's because of you guys. And you know, if you guys ever have questions, just ask me, and hope we can do this again.
Thank you. Well, if you're not gonna throw anything out here, I'm gonna say it because the viewers made it this far. We'll be linking Kane's channel in our description of this video. He has some really entertaining streams. He recently did a lot of getting over it. A great game. So definitely go check that out. And of course, subscribe to the Sasuke Nerds. Thank you, Kane, for joining us. Thank you, Kane, for being my co-host. With that said, I'm Kane. I hope you enjoyed.